everyone, my name is Amanda. I am the Campaign and Veterinary Manager here at Barker Beds. Barker Beds is proud to be the only clinically proven dog bed that is shown to improve the quality of life in dogs. So our beds are made to help dogs with joint support, help with surgery recovery, any dogs that really could benefit from a better bed. There are many benefits for better beds, and we have a couple studies that prove that, but I'm so excited to be here today with the Spring team to talk through how a better bed can help, especially in terms of pain. So at Barker Beds, our mission has always been to give dogs the same level of comfort that we have as we want for ourselves as humans. We know what it feels like to sleep on a comfortable bed versus a hard surface such as, let's say, a hotel bed or a vacation home. We were inspired by research that showed just how profoundly different sleep surfaces helped and impacted joint health and mobility. And, seeing so many dogs struggle with joint-related issues such as arthritis or hip dysplasia or even just age-related pain made us realize that just simply most pet beds that claim to be orthopedic, they just don't provide the support that dogs need, especially for big dogs. If you guys have big dogs, I'm sure you know that after their bodies sleep on it for a certain amount of time, you see a big hole in the bottom where it just completely sags, especially since their size and their weight. You want to make sure that they have extra support on those big bones and joints. So we wanted to create something that was not just a solution for big dogs, but all dogs that, it might not be as visible of joint-related issues, but something that would support dogs no matter their age, size, breed, all of the above. Yeah, so most pet beds are filled with low-quality foam, polyester fiber fill, and stuffing. Again, stuffing that probably just flattens or compresses under a dog's weight, even within just a few weeks, most of the time a few months. So not only are you having to buy a new bed every couple months, your dog basically ends up lying on the ground, on the direct hard floor, and that's not any type of cushion that they really need, and it's definitely not giving them joint support. So they, any bed you might find that claims to be orthopedic, it might look really plush and comfortable on the outside, but if you lay on it for a certain amount of time, you'll start to notice it just doesn't provide lasting support, especially for larger dogs. It's going to put a lot more pressure on their joints and not be comfortable for them. So, on top of that, they're probably not machine washable. So you'll continue to have to buy new beds every few months. So what's different about orthopedic beds like ours are we're designed differently. So all of our beds are made with 3 layers of American-made foam that are ideal for comfort and medical grade support. So like I said before, no matter the size or the size or the breed of the dog, our beds are designed to ensure even weight distribution and proper joint alignment along with a long-lasting durability. So our beds come with that 10-year warranty, so you're not having to replace a bed every few months or every few weeks at this point. So it's really just the difference between sleeping on a pillow versus a true mattress built for the dog's body. So supportive surfaces, beds, or even just human-grade mattresses, they reduce pressure on sore joints. They help spine keep within proper alignment, and they can just really help muscles fully relax. Like I said, you know what your body feels like after a good night's rest. Your dog feels that too. So for a dog that's dealing with arthritis or other joint conditions, this can mean a few different things. So this can mean less stiffness when they're getting up, just better, more restorative sleep, and then just an overall reduction in daily discomfort. Like, as humans, if we don't have a good sleep, our bodies feel that. We feel that mentally, emotionally, physically, all of the above. Dogs feel that too. So the right bed doesn't cure any condition, but it can make life far more comfortable for our canine friends. And we actually have studies to prove that. So we actually did a clinical study with the University of Pennsylvania, and they confirmed that after a dog slept on our bed for 28 days, they had an improved quality of life, mobility, and quality of life. And we also have a better sleep study that found that dogs sleeping on our beds slept deeper and had better restorative sleep with less nighttime restfulness. And veterinarians, they often remind us, when you're managing chronic pain, every detail matters. It's not just a bed. Like, you have medications, you have nutrition, you have exercise, but rest is often something that people don't think about. Rest is a huge aspect of how, a body rejuvenates itself for the next day. So providing a bed that truly supports your dog and their health, both physically, mentally, and emotionally, is one of the most simple and impactful ways that you can support your dog's comfort every single day. Dogs with arthritis, hip dysplasia, or age-related pain often notice the biggest differences with our beds once they have a bed that, properly supports their joints, whether that's they're just sleeping longer or something more visible, like they're less stiff the next day. But one of the things that really, you can see the most on dogs if they feel more comfortable. So if your dog is stiff, they're likely not going to be able to play with you as much, right? They're not going to be able to go on walks with you. So a bed isn't the solution to that. It's just one of the many multimodal approaches that you can take to helping give your dog the best possible outcome for life and the most comfortable outcome of life. And veterinarians, they frequently highlight, restorative rest is a key part of managing those chronic conditions, because it is really truly a time where the joints can relax and recover. And that's exactly what's happening to these dogs. So we've heard stories like this from our customers for years. Like, again, we have that clinical study to back it up, but just even before we had that, we would have customers reach out to us and say, my dog looks and feels like a completely different dog. And you don't think about the difference that a bed can make until you actually think like, oh, I know what I would feel like if I had a bed that actually supported me in the way that I would want my dog to be supportive too. So hearing the kinds of stories where, dogs went from being able to not even get up off the couch to now they're going for 5-minute, even 10-minute long walks. It's really transformative, and it has a bigger impact than people think it does. And it's why we do what we do. We want all dogs to live more of that pain-free, comfortable life. And there's a lot of different avenues that you can take to help give your dog the most comfort in their days. Managing chronic pain is, like I said, it's rarely a single solution. So while a bed does help, that aspect of that, it typically involves, many different factors, including veterinary care, absolutely, medication, supplements, physical therapy, controlled activity, or even just like lifestyle adjustments. So like I said, rest and recovery, they're crucial, but they're often overlooked as part of a recovery plan for dogs. So a supportive bed really just ensures that the hours that your dog is spent resting, which is anywhere from 18 to 22 hours a day, because dogs sleep all day, it's making the most of their day and contributing to joint and muscle health instead of just giving them a place where they're on a hard surface, their bones and their joints are feeling the hard floor. This better beds are adding pressure or alleviating pressure and discomfort for them. And like I said, veterinarians see the difference that having this multimodal approach can take. So proper rest, can help with reduced stiffness or improve mobility, but a bed works alongside all of that. So physical therapy, going for low impact walks, doing stuff outside with your dog. They want something that they can come back and their bones and their joints can relax. And that also goes along with any medications or supplements. So they all work together to make sure that your dog's body is fully ready for the next day and being able to enjoy more comfortable and active days together alongside their humans. As you guys know, many dogs spend the vast majority of their lives outside of the veterinary office, right? So what happens outside of the home or outside of the vet office at home has a huge impact on their long-term health. So even though your vet could recommend this and they're doing therapy in office with the vet, that same type of treatment needs to happen at home. So daily routines, activity levels, and rest, these are all factors that influence joint comfort and mobility, overall well-being. So, veterinarians, they're continually emphasizing how important rest is and how it's a key component of managing chronic conditions, because like I said, it's giving the body full time to relax and recover for the next day, especially, giving muscles the ability to relax, letting your joints fully recover, having something that come back that's comfortable too. And then also just, as you're sleeping, inflammation tends to be minimized too. So if your dog is doing high impact activities like running or jumping or heavy like training, especially agility dogs. They want something that their bodies can actually come back to and relax on, instead of sleeping on a hard surface where their joints are probably becoming more inflamed if they're not sleeping on something that's more comfortable. So by providing a true orthopedic sleeping service, you can help your dog ease their pain, you can help improve their mobility. And again, this is not just a bed. This goes along with the whole multimodal approach of listening to what your vet suggests. Obesity and weight management is huge, because if your dog is overweight, it's going to be harder on all of their joints. So making sure that they're comfortable, and reinforcing that the care that's provided in the clinic is also going home with you helps your dog set up best for long-term health. I have an 11-year-old dog, and before I worked at Barker Beds, I would have never thought to look for any difference of why it really matters, why it matters to get a better bed for her. But when now that I think about it, the answer I would say would be, when choosing a bed for a senior or even arthritic dog, the two factors are support and durability, right? So beds that have high density foam, like ours, we use 3 layers of foam. One that maintains its shape, helps reduce pressure on sore joints, and make sure that their spine is properly aligned. You also want a bed that's just big enough for your dog and they have ability to stretch out. Dogs like to find different fun ways to get comfy. Some likes to sprawl out, some likes to lay on their side, some likes to lay a little ball. So you want a bed that a dog can lay in whatever pose that they want. On top of that, you should look for a cover that's removable and easy to clean. You don't want to have to keep buying new beds because you aren't able to clean them and they just get soggy and gross. And on top of that, you want a bed that's waterproof, right? So if you have a puppy who's probably potty training, or a senior who's a little incontinent, you want a bed that you don't have to worry about if they have a little accident on it, or even if it's a rainy day and you have muddy paws and you're not going to be able to clean it. Luckily, we do have waterproof liners that protect your dog's foam, so you don't have to worry about if there's an accident on it. A bed should be made to last, right? So you don't want a bed that you're just going to have to keep throwing out, spending a lot of money on. Obviously, made in the USA is a huge factor, because the ingredients made in the USA are not made with chemicals that are hurtful to your dog. You want something that's not only safe to make for the people that make them or engineer them, but also that your dog can lay on for a substantial amount of time and not be ingesting harmful chemicals for them. You want something that's backed by a warranty that's going to hold up for your dog, right? If the bed doesn't have any type of warranty on it, there's no point of buying it, because you're just going to, again, have to replace it a few months or a few weeks later. So, softer beds that flatten quickly or use this low quality filling, again, they might feel comfortable and they might look nice in your home at first, but they're not going to provide any lasting support, and they're definitely not going to feel comfortable for your large dog or even medium-sized dogs' joints. So select a bed that's well designed, not just with all the factors that make and look nice in your home, but one that's actually going to improve your dog's mobility. It's going to improve their comfort level, and then overall that's going to benefit the overall quality of life for them. Many pet parents are surprised by just how much better their dog feels once they have a supportive bed. So again, I keep saying back to us as humans, but you don't think about the impact that rest has until you've had a bad night and you're like, wow, I just wish I could have slept better. But dogs can't speak, right? So all we rely on as humans is to visualize what we see their body language. So we can see that they're limping. We can see that they look lethargic, or that they don't want to go for a walk. So we don't realize how uncomfortable, or the true impact of how uncomfortable they are, until we notice that they're visually telling us that there is something wrong, right? So dogs tend to stop shifting positions constantly when they're on a better bed, because they actually have a place where their bones aren't hurting. So you'll notice if a dog is in pain, they'll tend to shift a lot because they're trying to find a spot that is comfortable and not hurting a spot. Especially if you have a dog that has elbow dysplasia or hip dysplasia, you're going to see them trying to shift weight away from those specific pain points, because they're trying to find a spot where they're not sleeping in pain, right? So if they're finding a bed or if they have a bed that is supporting their bodies truly, they're going to be sleeping more, but also shifting less. They're going to be sleeping more soundly, so you might hear louder snoring. You'll probably wonder where they are. They're probably on their bed, and they're going to wake up with more energy, right? It's all about that restorative rest. So if a dog's body, just like us humans, if a human's body is not restored overnight, you're going to wake up groggy. You're going to wake up with brain fog. That's exactly the same for dogs. So dogs aren't going to want to play with you as much. They're not going to want to be as active. So these observations, like, we have a study to prove this. We actually just came out with the Better Sleep study, which we tracked dogs that slept on a Barker bed versus a regular bed. So we partnered with Link My Pet, and we were tracking dogs' sleeping patterns. If you guys can think about this, we had 5.5 billion data points that we had to track on top of that. So we measured 42 dogs across 36 households. And what we found was that dogs slept significantly more time and in deeper sleep. They had less time awake, and they were moving around a lot less at night when they slept on a Barker bed. Their sleep quality scores, which again includes how deeply they were sleeping, how much they moved around, and their activity the next day improved by over 20%. So again, supportive rest has a measurable benefit beyond just feeling like a comfortable space or looking aesthetic in your home. When a dog can rest properly, just like when a human can rest properly, your muscles are relaxed, your joints are recovering, and you just have a better, more restorative quality of life.